Hello, my name is Tabs and welcome to episode 181 of the Grove Podcast. Now, thank you for listening, and I'm pretty sure if you are listening to this, you are feeling a multitude of emotions at the moment and that you may not quite have yet calmed down, or even fully recovered from the most intense, stressful, nerve-wracking final 15, 20 minutes of the season after Arsenal's 1-0 win over West Ham at the London Stadium, and the latest instalment of how fucking stressful can we make the 25-26 season for our fans be. Well, I certainly know I haven't fully recovered, and there we go, and that's what we're going to be talking about. And joining me to talk through their experience of the game is Kuziva. Kuziva, how are you? And how did you feel when you heard Chris Kavanagh say, after review, West Ham number 19 commits a foul on the goalkeeper. Final decision is direct free kick, which I think are the greatest words spoken by a Mancunian since suffragette founder Emmeline Pankhurst said "Deeds not words" in 1903.
Yeah, it was a surreal moment, genuinely surreal moment. As soon as that happened, I just kept on saying, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore.
Three more games. Three more games.
It's a lot. I mean, I'm still processing, I think. I don't know. I'll speak to my therapist about that. I'm doing all right. Very excited that we managed to get the win. Excited that people are angry at, refs for not being consistent in other games and not. Yeah, it's weird, but it's exciting to me that people are so angry. But yeah, I'm well.
Good. And look, we might be joined by Academy Award winner for Best Actor in a Football Stadium, or should I say incognito, after our behind enemy lines trip to the London Stadium. We had a bit of a day yesterday, which we'll talk about. Yeah, so maybe he'll be able to pop on in a bit, life and work and stuff like that. So he might join us. But there we go. And yeah, well, let me just start with letting you know what we got up to yesterday. So yes, on Friday I get a phone call from Ian. He lives out in Dublin, saying my friend's got a ticket for the West Ham game. Oh, great! It'll be great to be in amongst the Arsenal fans and go to an away game and and see us potentially move just 3 points closer to winning the league. And then he dropped the bombshell and said, well, it's in the West Ham end. And after a nanosecond of thought, we said, "Sod it, let's do it." Yeah, in for a penny, in for a pound. Life's about experiences, and yes. So we went undercover, and many of you might have seen on the socials. A number of Arsenal fans were undercover. Some got found out and were unceremoniously booted out, quite literally. Some posted quite ironic. Shall we say, videos of them pretending to be West Ham fans. And me and Ian, we actually got lucky. We were like the back row, a back row in a row that was sort of fairly empty. And so, we could be relatively incognito. We did keep ourselves undercover. We didn't let out. And I was just thinking to myself earlier, I actually found it less stressful watching it, because I had to take all the emotion out of the game and sort of disengage, that actually I could not react to anything. Even and even for when we scored, I did not flinch. And when they scored, I had to stand up and go, "Hey, well done, Irons!" But actually, I didn't feel too emotionally. I was thinking, if I was at home, I would have been pacing, I would have been doing this, I would have been shouting, screaming, I would have hated every minute of it. So actually, being there was a bit of a, from a heart rate perspective, was all right, and I had to, and it was quite good because West Ham fans were equally miserable as Arsenal fans. So we could, so it was quite easy. And anytime, like when something happened that West Ham almost got through, I was like banging and kicking the chair or whatever in frustration. And they're thinking, I'm frustrated that West Ham is. I'm frustrated. What the hell are you doing, Arsenal? And vice versa. So yeah, it was an afternoon, but it ended up being a great result. And it wasn't until we sort of were about 20 minutes away from the stadium did we actually properly start celebrating and hugging each other and all the rest of it. And yeah, so it was good. So yeah, in and out of London in 12 hours for Ian, and we also did a bit of a sightseeing tour through Central London on the way back. So there you go, Ian. Anyway.
So just to quickly add, I actually did that. I think it was 2 years ago when we drew 2-2 to West Ham. It's the only time I've actually sat behind Emily.
Oh, the Saka penalty one, yeah.
Ooh, that was. I mean, I'm glad that you could manage your emotions. That was honestly like one of the worst experiences I've ever had because, yeah, you can't celebrate, and then I guess because we drew 2-2, it was just a shit experience. Like I walked out smiling, then I met my friends, we were all sitting in different parts, and it was just like we're never doing that again. Yeah, never doing that again. So I'm glad that you had a good experience. And
well, it was. I'm not sure it was good. It was an interesting experience. I mean, the fact that we won made a difference. I did it at Brentford earlier in the year, and that's slightly different. It's a bit more friendly. You're not worried about some West Ham meathead kicking your head in sort of thing at Brentford. But yeah, we made it out alive, and I guess self-preservation was a big driver to. I was just literally. It was quite cold actually, so I was literally sitting there, hands in pockets, my jacket over my mouth, and just sort of like motionless apart from the odd thing. But anyway, on to the game. The game itself had so many talking points: injuries, bizarre substitutions, a sub being subbed, great saves, near misses, great defending, a great cameo, a clutch goal. But I think we need to start with the biggest talking point of them all, the one that's been most talked about, the one getting all the Arsenal haters knickers in a twist, the equaliser or non-equaliser for West Ham in the 94th minute. That was eventually and quite rightly ruled out for fouls after about 5 minutes, and it wasn't just one foul, it was 2 fouls. So, take your pick. And yeah, how did you feel when it went in? What did you make of the decision, and what have you made of the backlash, on the socials by so-called pundits since?
So when it went in, I was shell shocked, as you can imagine. I was like, "Wow, this is it." Yeah, we are here. This is where we're at. And then saw the replay, and I was like, "Okay, cool."
But back to that, did you think season over? That's us done. We can't recover from this. Even if it's only going to be a draw, there's still goal difference.
No, I didn't. I thought we've lost 2 points. I didn't think season over. I didn't think season over. Remember, last time I was on this pod, I'm the one who was telling everyone that City's going to drop points, and that's exactly what happened. So I'm still hopeful until the very end. But yeah, when the VAR started, when the replay played, I was like, okay, this looks like a foul. Then I heard Gary Neville say, that definitely is a foul. And I was like, guys, if Gary Neville is saying it's a foul, this is probably a foul. Honestly,
he's got a direct line to VAR. So.
Honestly, like that guy hates us so much, right? I mean, you should have heard his commentary when, to be fair, we'll speak about it later, when Ben White was subbed for, I forgot who was it? Yeah, Zubimendi. But we knew it was a foul. Like, that's a foul through and through. The backlash has been a little bit expected because that was arguably the biggest hate watch that we've probably seen in the last 5 years. And people are like, oh, also does this all the time. But it's funny, no one can actually prove that our players pull goalkeepers' arms down all the time. No one can prove that. I would love for someone to prove that, because the last time that actually happened was 2023. Ben White pulled down,
against Leicester,
it was Schmeichel's arm. And
it wasn't Schmeichel, but it was against Leicester. But
Leicester, and he scored, but then it was disallowed. So the backlash is expected. They hate us. It is what it is. I don't care. I actually don't care. I don't care.
No, it was unbelievable. So I couldn't react. It was a bit like, oh fuck, and I had to stand up and pretend and no, I wasn't quite cheering, but at least stand up and semi pretend. But luckily, back row, not too many eyes on us, so it wasn't exactly the most vociferous. And to be honest, even for West Ham, a point wasn't particularly a great result, because they needed 3 really because of their position. But I mean, Yeah, look, we didn't know what was happening in the stadium. All we could do was hope, and it was there. And look, the fact that they're watching it for so long, I was trying to follow it on the chat. I was looking at the WhatsApp group and on the Grove, and it was like, that's a foul, 100% foul, 1,000%, a million. Everyone's like foul. So it was giving me hope, giving me a bit of hope, and then he goes to VAR, and yeah. So look, first things first, it was a foul. Okay, there's not doubted. Like Pablo's got his arm across Raya's upper body, neck. He's holding his arm down. Tadebo's holding his shirt. Raya's trying to claim it. If they're doing half of that, he claims it, gets the ball end of, and because of that, he cannot claim it. Ball pops out to Wilson. He smacks it through the bodies. In Rice is clearly over the line. That's there, but it is a clear foul. Now, I understand everyone going about the inconsistencies, and that's fine. There are inconsistencies, but you can't referee what's happened in the season. You've got to referee this one incident, and this incident, it was a foul. Okay, and anyone with any sort of qualification has said this is a foul. No one is saying this is not a foul. So I think the backlash is all about inconsistency. Why is it calling it? The rest of it is just spurious, disingenuous nonsense about Arsenal always do this, Arsenal that, and it's the haters, the likes of Shay Given and Joe Hart and Peter Schmeichel. Yeah, the goalkeepers union who'd be first running up to the referee should this would be them in a game. They're all. It's just purely, and I'd rather they just go, I don't like Arsenal. I don't want them to win. And therefore, that's going to bias my opinion and what I'm going to say on it. I'd rather they just be honest with that, and then I could actually respect them more. But trying to cover it up about, they do this, do that. Well, they don't. We are clever at how we do things. We block, and we interfere. But that's very different between physically holding someone down, and they've shown clips, and all we're doing is just standing in a position, which is fine, which is very different. So, no, I think they're going over one. And there was really two good bits that I've picked up that do that. And then they're saying about what about all the other fouls that happened. Rice, okay, he had his arms around Mavropanos. I think Odegaard was doing something, but then Souček slammed Havertz to the floor, and what they say is that the most consequential incident is the one that gets refereed first. Yeah. So as a result of the foul on Raya, a goal is scored. So that's what they referee first. All the others are inconsequential. That doesn't matter. So as soon as the Raya one is a foul, those things are inconsequential. And they go, but what about... Yeah, but that's just the laws. It is. I've got it here. Law 5.3. If two fouls happen at once, the ref punishes the more serious one. Holders Raya's arms in the 6-yard box is a massive tactical, is a foul. Yeah, so that's it. And there's some other stuff, even Dale Johnson is saying it. And the other thing, I don't know if you watched, did you watch Match of the Day last night, the highlights? No, they had they're Darren Cann on there. So he's a ex-assistant referee and ex whatever. He said, look, he's saying it's a foul. It's unfortunate for West Ham given the timing, but it's a foul. That's the bottom line. And he's clearly impeded. And it calls it, it's a foul. It's just the consequence. And I think it's a really brave decision because there's so much riding on this. But also, if he gave the goal to West Ham, Tottenham could possibly complain, about it, and stuff like that. So it's look, we've had our criticisms of PGMO, and this doesn't make PGMO all of a sudden very good and make VAR good. It just means they've made the right decision at the right time. So I don't. The criers are crying because they hate Arsenal. It's because it's Arsenal, but. Yeah. Did you? What about the game before Brentford versus Man City? Brentford the day before. Did you see all the? Did you see the incidents in that one?
Well, the one that's engraved in my head right now is Nunes pushing one of their. I think it was Thiago first, and then another player. Well, maybe it happened twice, but he clearly pushed forward from the Brentford team. And nothing happened. At least one of those should have been called for something. Like VAR did nothing. So it's really fascinating that just the day before we all watched the same game and we all saw what Nunes did. And the backlash is yesterday's game because it's Arsenal, right? Let's be annoyed. And the backlash isn't about the foul. It's not consistent. Like Arsenal cheats. Guys, if we cheat so much, why haven't we won a trophy in 22 years? We must be bad cheaters, right? So yeah, it's just the same old. And I don't know. What did you think about that? I also didn't Bernardo Silva merely get a should have gotten a red card apparently.
Look, the Bernardo Silva one, he strikes out with his arm. He's just a petulant twat. He gets away with it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. What they should have had a penalty. The one in the second half. It's not fact. Look, decisions are bad. There are bad decisions week in. VAR misses stuff. We know it's inconsistent. But I'm saying the outcry. No one was saying, "Oh, City got away with that. They could have had a sending off. Could have had a penalty." No one's saying it. It's just the faux outrage and just the pinpointing and good work for Danny Murphy on Match of the Day last night, calling out, Shay Givens. It's sticking up for Arsenal. Wayne Rooney's doing it, seeing through the bullshit. And this is the thing that gets me, and you just mentioned it there, is it same old Arsenal always cheating. Now, me and Ian sang that wholeheartedly. Really, just like with complete irony, and we were loving it afterwards. Like, same old Arsenal, always cheating. You could not imagine how funny we were in that, singing that. But the irony is, City are the biggest cheaters around, and Chelsea, and no one gives a crap. It's fine. They're the biggest and proven cheats, but we're the ones. And it doesn't make any sense. We weren't cheating. We're not the ones that made the decision. We're not the one that fouled anyone. Fouling, So it's like whatever. Let them. Let them. So yeah, I'm getting all Mel Robbins, and I'm getting very just let them say and do what they want. But anyway, but it was very brave of them to do so, and it would have been very easy to do the easy thing. Well, actually, maybe not. Maybe because it was so big, it was easier to do the right thing than the easy thing. Because often people do the easy thing, but because it was so big, I just have to do the right thing here, and the right thing was give the foul, and
was the backlash that will come from doing the opposite of that. He's like honestly losing his job, or at least getting suspended. So
yeah,
it is what it is. We are here 5 months ahead.
But I was thinking that season done. I'm not sure we recover from this. I'm thinking City banging a load of goals, and we may win them. But yeah. But anyway, it didn't happen. We won 1-0, and so let's review the game in a bit more. So look, before the game, have the lineups come out, and it's third game running, and I can't remember the last time we had 3 games in a row where we had the same 11. But what did you think? Were you surprised that it was the same startups lineup as Fulham and Atletico?
No, I wasn't surprised because evidently it's a working formula. He's figured it out, and he's like, okay, cool. You guys get into this rhythm. Let's make sure that you continue working well together until we get to the end of the season. So I wasn't too surprised by that. The last time we had the same starting lineup 3 times in a row, I think it was 2023, 2024 season.
Wow.
So it's been a while. So yeah, it wasn't surprise at all. And we also are playing.
Were you happy? Were you happy to see the same 11?
I was happy. Yeah, I was. He's found his formula, and maybe this is part of. Besides, like the fact we need to win all our games, maybe this is also the build up to the final of the Champions League, right? Like, you guys have clicked. Let's continue getting you guys to play. So, unless Timber comes back, of course. I mean, Ben White is injured, so there's that. But I mean, so you were surprised, I guess.
Maybe not surprised. I just thought maybe freshen it up. Just maybe, Mascara, Zubi, Hincapie, Odegaard, 2 or 3 of those coming in. Just, if you're doing the same thing, people will then be able to predict a bit more. They'll know how to handle it. Just again, someone like Ben White playing multiple minutes. We're all very nervous, and look what happened. No, that's not as a consequence of him multiple minutes, but we just to shake things up, freshen it up. We've still got 2 very big games and the Champions League, just to keep everyone involved. Maybe more than just being subs. So yeah. But look, he knows best. I guess what happens in run-ins in season, you don't change a winning team. You don't change a formula that works. They're on a roll, and you keep that roll running. So yeah, I was a little bit surprised, but when it came out, I said, okay, fair enough. Yep, we'll take it and move on. And always at the moment, our bench is tremendous. So we've always got options, and it worked out yesterday. Our bench, after a few misdirections by Arteta, which we'll get to. But it worked out for us, and they have been key in recent games. So that's always my go-to is like, okay, fine, same starting 11, but what a bench we have to come on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you have any particular highlights and lowlights from the game?
Low light is just the 5 minutes of insane stress. A lot of stress. Just like I just kept on saying I can't do this anymore. Within the game, I wasn't too surprised by everything that happened besides that the whole situation at the end. West Ham was always going to be a bit tough. We're playing away. It's a little London derby. They're fighting relegation. Highlights was definitely Odegaard. There was a period for like 7, 8 minutes when our captain just turned on and he said, "Guys, we have to win this game," and he was just doing everything he could to get the ball forward, and that was just so much fun to watch. And he topped it off with capped it off with a lovely assist to Trossard. So yeah, those are my two.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about Odegaard. And we can talk about that goal because it was a lovely, well worked goal. And he combines really well with a lovely 1-2 with Rice, and he seems to be so calm, and he's taking all these little touches, and you need to do something with it, but he seems to be sort of trying to position the West Ham defence, and Rice is on the edge of the box screaming at him, and it would be very easy for him to just pass it because he was really visibly in his face screaming, but he picked at he does that, he picks out the perfect pass to Trossard in the right place. And who smashes it home from the penalty spot, deflection, no deflection. That's going in, and I think he sort of changed the trajectory of the great game. I think we were a lot of possession, but not really doing much with it. And he was the one that started to probe, started to do something with it. Was starting to think, he said, as you said, take the game by the scruff of the neck and trying to make things happen. And I feel really really pleased for him. And did you see how he celebrated when we scored?
Yeah, that was just a joy to watch. Yeah, as you said, like I'm very pleased for him. And he came on as a sub because that's the bench we have now. We can bring in our captain, who's national team captain and the superstar in his own right, to come and save the game for us.
Yeah, I mean he very very pleased for him because he's had a tough season. As said, he's from the injuries, 2-3 injuries in and out of the team. He's meant to be a captain, and I'm sure he's feeling it. I'm sure he wants to be out there being one of the main men, and he's just not had a chance to. But it just goes to show what he can offer, given the chance. And as I said, what a great option to have off the bench. We'll see going forward. I've got a feeling for him maybe starting in the next two games. Just he is our captain. He is the man, and then we can have as an option. So it's a good shout out. Good shout out for him as a highlight. I mean, I had a couple of little ones in terms of low lights. I'll start with that. One was Ian's acting. He was hamming up, and that's definitely pun intended, way too much. he was like, thou dost protest too much, or thou dost support West Ham too much. he was being ridiculous, and I was like, in contrast to me just sitting there quiet. It's not being able to celebrate because I can imagine when that goal, when Leo's goal went in, oh my word, just everyone must have just gone absolutely ballistic. And I spoke to my son. He said he shouted the flat down, and I bet you lost control for a few minutes.
We're in a pub, and I've never lost my voice in a pub, so that was a new experience. But it was a surreal experience. I mean, I think if I had space to do Odegaard's on the knees, oh my God, we've just scored the celebration, I'd have done it. But it was the best experience I've felt in a very long time.
I was literally like this. that was the extent of my emotion. Raised eyebrow. I know, but the primary low light, I think, is the Ben White injury.
Oh yes.
I've not seen anything of it. People are talking about an MCL, end of his season. But then they were saying that about he left in a boot, protective boot or knee brace, and people were talking about Madueke for England when that happened. So he was unlucky, just a contact injury. In Somerville again, he's taken out both. He must be made of granite, because he took out Odegaard with his knee on knee, and now he's taken out Ben White. That was. Yeah, it's a shame because we need him, especially with Timber. At least he's moved from civvies to wearing a tracksuit yesterday. So I
Yeah,
don't know if that's part of the that's the rehab.
I hope.
But we need him if Ben White's there. I mean, Mascara came on. I think it took him a while to settle in. He seems to do that. It takes him a while to settle into a game, and then he's great. He eventually came on at half time, but we're gonna need him, and we're starting to struggle with bodies at right back, especially thinking of Header playing. Was it PSG? Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, but we'll see. And with that, and look, we'll touch on it now. With that Ben White injury, we bring on Zubimendi. So we put Rice at right back, which he did before at Brighton, man of the match. But he goes at right back and he brings on Zubimendi. What did you make of that? It just seemed bizarre. It seemed a bit overthinking.
So I rated it because
Okay.
Gary Neville was against it. So obviously I was the inverse. We just kept on like, what's Arteta thinking? So I was for it, and I was like, it makes sense. Rice has done this before. He's going to be passing, down to Trossard. He can make it work. And then it just, the stats after that happened. I mean, before Ben White got injured, we honestly should have scored at least 2 goals.
Yeah,
and then as soon as that switch up happened, we weren't the same team that we've seen in the last 2-3 games, because that team had Rice in the midfield and MLS in the midfield. So, I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, that was bizarre. I was just against Gary Neville. I was like, this is a great move by my manager.
and did he also say something about Ben White? You were going to say, like, also was mentioning about Ben, or was it just the substitution?
It was just a substitution.
Oh,
he was just surprised that Rice was moved to right back. And he's like, that makes no sense because Rice is more effective in the midfield.
Yeah,
but it's true. We saw it.
Yeah, well, no, yeah. I mean, after the 22nd minute, which was around when he got injured, our XG was 0.59.
Yeah,
from our total XG for the game was about 1.34. So, we did suffer as a result. I don't know. It seemed bizarre. Seemed odd, but yeah, he knows what he's doing. He did that against Brighton. I just felt we lost that thrust in the midfield. We lost that partnership there because, again, it's that thing we've done in that I think we've always said don't do when you're changing someone. Just bring the next person up, because when you take someone out of one place, not only does he then goes into another position maybe not used to, then you lose the relationship in the middle. So all of a sudden it's Miles and Zubi who haven't played together rather than Miles and Rice.
exactly.
And you're making, and then suddenly things break up. It just maybe overthinking. Bring on Mascara, right back for right back. Carry on. So, Arteta said, we really believe that he can give us the fluidity and the chance to hurt them, but sometimes you have to make another change. And the one on Zubi was tough, but really felt that we had to put 2 attacking midfielders on. So he obviously thought something was there, but it was just plain to see it didn't work. Calafiori comes off at half time, Mascara comes on, and is that what happened? Yeah. Was it? Yeah. And then MLS moves to left back, and then it's Rice and Zubi. But I don't know. Zubi's just suddenly, again, it's happened this year with players. They've fallen off a cliff very quickly, and their form is gone. It happened with Trossard at the beginning of the year, and now suddenly he's finding his form. It's odd how it's suddenly happened, and maybe there's a bit of a psychological thing because I'm sure he was thinking, "Oh, I'll play against Atletico." Oh, he doesn't, and now he's finding himself on the bench. Maybe he's not used to it, but it's a tough one. But how brave was then Arteta to sub a sub, because that's just never a good look. I mean, I know it's no time to be nice, but it's a hard one to do. It was a brave decision.
It is. Honestly, I had a feeling it was going to happen, but when I saw it happening, I was like, okay, wow, shout out to you, Arteta. And I hope that Zubi also understood in the situation that I haven't been in this midfield position with these players, so things need to change up. I think the game really was a story of Arteta's in-game management, the good and the bad. The bad, that putting Rice on the right and then trying to figure out that whole situation and then rectifying it in game. And again, it goes back to the quality of our bench. When you have options like that, it is easier to rectify your mistakes. Just grateful for that.
Could you imagine though if we didn't win?
Oh my god, it would have been fuck, yeah, it would have been the worst. Yeah,
I mean, and I'm not. Yeah, there's in terms of the result and all the rest of it, but he just the hate on Arteta. It was bad enough just mid game, but I mean, actually that was one thing I was just. Here we go. This reminds. What was also really good yesterday was not being surrounded by fucking moaning ass Arsenal
oh my
fans.
god, I didn't even.
Moaning ass Arsenal fans going, "Oh, what are you doing? What's this? What's that?" It was actually I could watch it relatively pleasantly because I wasn't surrounded by everything that Arsenal did criticised. that was funny. I remember that now. But yeah, if we hadn't have won that, then yeah, you just imagine the heat he would have got. But that's the least of our worries. But you could see that. So the Ben White thing and the subsequent subbing that was a bit of a low light. You've also then got Calafiori coming off injury, smokescreen. Not really too sure, but we do need him for our attack. He was so important in that first 30 minutes for our attack, and we need goals against Burnley and Palace. So let's see. And in terms of my highlight, getting out the London Stadium without being exposed in one piece was a highlight. And the players' reactions to Leo's goal. So I watched it on Match of the Day, and I basically watched it 11 times just to see, and more than 11 times, just to see each individual player's reaction, because sometimes you see goals scored and only a few people go up to celebrate, others go back to the halfway line or they chat amongst themselves what we could do now. No, every player was all in on the celebrations. William Saliba doing his thing, kicking the ball and going with the fans. Odegaard dropping to his knees. Just everyone just so delighted. And actually they knew how huge that goal was. So I don't know. I loved watching that celebrate, and it's something I do with goals. Just like, and then I go and watch how the West Ham players reacted. So that was good. But I would have to say the biggest highlight is David Raya, and look, I'm wearing the jersey in honor of David Raya because for me he is our player of the season.
Yeah,
and he made his biggest save of the season, or most consequential one yesterday. What did you make of his performance yesterday? And there was two saves. One is the flying header at the end of the first half, and then the Hernandez. Is it Hernandez? Fernandez?
Fernandez.
Fernandez 1-on-1. Everything just slowed down. Yeah. How did you feel when he was going through, and what did you make of David Raya?
I do this weird thing where maybe I'm trying to protect my mind. I was looking at the back of the net, waiting for the net to bulge, and it didn't. And I was like, "What the hell?" And obviously, we erupted in the pub, just in awe of our number one player. Honestly, like our number one, literally and figuratively. Um, he is our player of the season, and we people always speak about goalkeepers will save you 10, 15 points, and that's how you win championships. And he's been doing that for the last 2, 3 seasons, and it's counted the most this season. And genuinely, we have we have the best goalkeeper in the world, which is insane because he doesn't even he's not even number 2 for Spain. I don't care though. He's going to win us a Premier League, touch wood. And yeah, phenomenal. Like, he's a phenomenal goalkeeper. That's all I can say about that.
He's got the Golden Glove for the third year running. And it's so funny to think back when Arteta signed him and all the stick Arteta got, and vibes versus facts. I sort of put it down here in my notes. Ramsdale versus Ray, and you look at the trajectory of the two players now and where they are, and just the difference. It just look, making signings. It is 50-50, whatever happens, you never know what's going to work and all the rest of it, but we get a bit of grief for certain signings and how we do them, but there's never any guarantees with signings. But I would say Raya is up there with the way Jesus and Zinchenko transformed Arsenal. Was it 3-4 years ago when they came in? I think he is by far the most significant signing Arteta has made, and one of the most transformative in our club's recent history. Because, and I said it before, I said Andrew, he's just so integral to how we play, how we start attacks, and who we are. And he's fucking good in goal.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Exactly.
he's the agility, the saves he makes. Yeah, he'll make a mistake here and there, and that's what happens. But a lot of that comes from his bravery, and how he's asked to do, and so on. There are moments where he rushes things. There are moments where we can panic us a bit, but he's got so much credit in the bank. He's incredible. And he's that save there, and I would suggest it's also a bad miss. If that was an Arsenal player going through and he misses that, we're going, Gyökeres, what are you doing? Havertz, why didn't you score? But maybe he made the miss happen. So I think it's just incredible. And we're so fortunate to have him, and we wouldn't be where we were without him, and I rate him up there. So good job, David. So those are my sort of highlights. So just on the game itself, how did you feel before the game, and then how did you feel about the overall performance and how we played, how we approached it?
Before the game, I had a feeling it was going to be a slog. So when we started, the way we started, I was like, holy shit, okay, we up for it. And that then changed my, I guess, perception of how we're going to set up in this game, right? Then the Ben White injury happened. Then we moved Rice to right back, and we just went balanced, and it just wasn't clicking the way we wanted it to click. So that was a little bit frustrating, but I still believed that we were going to score. It was the same belief, I guess, I had against Bournemouth a couple of weeks ago. So maybe I need to stop believing that.
Yeah, your belief system's wrong.
It's not great. But then, players like Odegaard just stepped up. After the game, I mean, looking at the game as a whole, it goes back to what I said earlier. The game really was just a judgment into Arteta's in-game management. Seeing him tinker the way he did is part of the reason why we struggled a little bit, and then we ended up winning. I don't have a smarter analysis to this game, because maybe there's trauma that's blocking me from thinking about everything else, even though I watched the replay. But yeah, I'm not surprised by the slog that we had to make to get to where we needed to get to. This was the only game out of the last 5-6 games that I was worried about. This game, yeah.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, this was the game. The other games I think will be fine. Before, I thought Newcastle, I was like, would be fine. This is the game that I was like, all right, let's see. Because they're playing for 100 million. They're playing for pride of East London, I guess.
Yeah, staying up. Yeah, no, they were there. I was confident. And look, we go into this game off a great week in the Prem. Champions League finalists, chest puffed out, mentality, momentum, everything's in our hands. I mean, the pressure's still on to get the result, and against the team, as you said, fighting for the Premier League life. So I didn't think it was going to be easy. Like, we've had last year 5-2, the previous year 6-0. Even though, as you said, the start was like that. I mean, it was, particularly involving Calafiori again, who was fantastic for that first sort of 20 minutes. Calafiori, I think, had a shot in the 13th minute, and then we had that moment where was it Trossard has a header saved, good save, and then he hits the post crossbar as a return from that. Trossard set up Calafiori with a great chance, and maybe he should have passed and had a shot. Then Calafiori had a great header, then stopped on the line by Mavropanos, who obviously thought he was still playing Man City. Know your history. You got a place on the bus, So which was annoying. So Mavropanos stopped us from scoring a couple of times because he was the one that blocked the Calafiori. So I was thinking, actually, maybe this is like the last couple of seasons. We get one, we get a couple, but I know there was something about West Ham's 2026. Now I know it's not a thing, but in 2026 they're 10th in terms of form. So it sort of belies their 18th position. They're 18th for a reason, but that's maybe early season. They're 10th, but still 10th. So we're first. So we should still but I don't know, it just didn't feel, and looked at their results. They hadn't lost a lot recently at home. They hadn't lost in a while, and they got draws, they got wins. So they're a tough team. And when speaking to Adam, the West Ham fan, before the match, it's just, in a way, they've gone through the sort of the how many cycles of death or phases of death, and they're in acceptance. So instead of being stressed and sort of panicky and worrying about it, they're sort of playing with a bit of a freedom, as in, well, we're going down anyway, so but we still got a chance. But it's not so stressful, something. So like when they got the 2-1 against Everton in the last minute, and they're getting sort of results because maybe the pressure's a bit off, because maybe they accepted their fate, and maybe say, oh, maybe, a bit like us when we had it in our hands beforehand. We were stressed. As soon as it came down to, right, all we have to do is win, or else, it's suddenly the stress level's good because there's clarity or whatever. It's just that sort of mentality thing. So I was a bit worried, and I knew they would make it hard for us. They'd come in playing 5 at the back. They'd restrict room. They're going to go long, try and turn us, reduce space on the flanks, reduce space everywhere. And yeah, it turned out to be, even though we were dominant, creating chances, there was nothing massively, oh, you should score type moment, maybe 1 or 2 sort of things. So it was, like you, I was confident, but it was going to be, well, this is Arsenal, isn't it? it was going to be a bit of a slog. And so look, we've talked through the chances, talked through the first half, and the first save that Raya made right in the first half was, what a cross by Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and a great,
perfect
cross, and a great diving header, and a great save. And that's Raya, not in the game for a whole match, and then suddenly, bang, he's just got to be there, reliant on it. But so, okay, 0-0, half time. Okay, but no, still good. I think we're still the better team. Let's do it. And said Mosquera comes on, then later on the game's sort of drifting, not a lot happening. Make the subs. We have that one-on-one, heart in mouth. I was like, yeah, like you, waiting for the net to bulge, and then you go, wow, he hasn't scored, and thank Christ he didn't.
Immediately after that chance, I was like, that is the season-saving save. We are going to win this game. I was like, that's where we are now. Like, Raya has done his job. Everyone up front, do your job now. Like, let's go. And
let's go. And we did. And look, Trossard, how clutch is it? Who else do you want to be in that position, taking that shot? There's very few. Him, Eza, maybe.
Merino, maybe. But it's Trossard is number one. Trossard is number one, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's so clutch. He is so back, and love to see it. And the 82nd minute, Arsenal's winner today was timed at 82 minutes and 6 seconds. The latest goal in a 1-0 Premier League win since November 2023, which was Brentford against Brentford. Guy Havertz in the 89th minute. So a bit of a spurious stat, but yeah. So so a late 1-0 win. So it's like, yeah, and we needed it. And then there was like. And then there was a little bit of scuffling. It was a bit like the Atletico game. There was a lot of non-football going on, which helped in our favour. The West Ham coach got sent off. There was like little fouls, all getting a bit niggly, and I was like, oh great, this is great. And I'm just thinking, right, we are the best defence in the country, in Europe, in the world. Just hold on. No dumb shit. But all this, I was thinking, oh, this is playing out. This is in our hands, and then absolute carnage. And look, we saw the goal, no goal. But before that, Gabriel makes a huge block. So up there with the Raya save, was it Wilson shooting? And I think it's going. I'd like to see an angle from behind the goal, but Gabriel, another huge block on 94, which led to the corner, which led to the goal, which led to the VAR, etc. But again, our defence stood firm.
But this is what we know from our defense. Not surprised. What was surprising is how perfectly placed Wilson's shot. It went through so many bodies. That was a little bit unbelievable. But that's the Premier League. It's all scripted. It's a drama show that we're watching for 9 months per season. So
2 games to go. 2 games, well, 3, but 2 in the league. And look, and then we have the VAR nonsense. And we survive the final. And even then, after VAR, there's 2 minutes, and it's just not going to be. not going to be calmness at all. It's just get rid, boot it, get rid, and it's sliced and it's going up in the air and it's free kick, and we finally survive. Everyone's exhausted. Everyone's fluffing on the bit. I don't know if anyone's got actually any energy to celebrate because it's just so exhausted. And look, Arteta said on an emotional afternoon, "I'll certainly remember this day. It was a roller coaster of emotions. We knew it would be a tough day, fighting for our lives. We were trying to win the Premier League, so there is so much at stake. We threw everything at it to win. We were rewarded for our courage. We have to have the ability to win in every type of context through the season." That's certainly for sure. We have done that. The amount of games we have played and won has shown that. The only thing that matters is now and the presence and making it happen on the day. Today we've done it. There are 2 more to go. Only focus is Burnley. So, I was thinking here, this game sums up our season.
Yeah, it does. 1-0 to the Arsenal.
but it's not just that. It's in terms of winning, struggling. We win, but we're sort of struggling against a team that's defensive. There's controversial refereeing. We do great defending. We do great goalkeeping. And the anxieties and fears that the game produced, and the strains, and we win, and we're all going, what the fuck? What kind of be? I just imagine that on the end of season DVD, we're going to see a picture of Chris Kavanagh next to the VAR as as the cover sleeve. So because I think this game defines our season, and we will if we win, we're never forgetting this. I'm not going to forget it, partly because of my experience, but I don't think this will go down as in a funny way as the defining game of the 25-26 season. I think just for so many reasons. That's where I'm seeing this game.
Yeah, no, I agree. This team is literally about to get relegated, and we are fighting for the title, and we only managed to score in the last 10 minutes of normal time, or 7 minutes of normal time. VAR came to the party, coaches getting red cards. It's injuries.
Injuries, yeah, injuries. Of course, it has to be a game with injuries, and if it's not our season, if it doesn't have an injury in there, of course.
Perfect metaphor for an Arsenal season. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for the last 2 games because we'll remember this game fondly. It'll be the game that gave us headaches, like you're in the stadium, and all totally worth it. Like all totally worth it.
Headaches, palpitations, just every emotion under the sun. Okay, look, I was going to go into our 3-word reviews, but as you mentioned it, so look, 2 games to go. City have got 3 games. We play Burnley next Monday, and then at home, and then Crystal Palace away. Man City have got, I think, Crystal Palace Tuesday, Wednesday this week at home, and then they got the cup final at the weekend, and then they play Bournemouth away, and then Unai Emery's bend over forwards, sorry, not backwards, forwards, Aston Villa. Yeah, we're on 79 points, they're on 74. We're on 42 goal difference, they're on 40. Yeah, how are you feeling about the next 2 games? And also, I think we should call out the fact that we've gone from playing Newcastle, Atletico Madrid, Fulham, Atletico Madrid, and West Ham, 1-4, drawn 1, scored 7, only conceded 1 goal. That's insane. Yeah, well, not insane, but I think that's fantastic. But how are you feeling about the next 2 games? Is it done?
Ooh, can't say that. Just on your stats, we were due to stop conceding the amount of goals we're conceding. It was bound to happen, and I'm so glad the math is mathing at the tail end of the season. So it is insane, and I hope that it continues. It helps that we have mostly a fully fit side. We have Hinkapie, who's our best defender on the left, sitting on the bench, and he's a break open glass defender if we need him. So last 2 games, Burnley. So I've been saying this to a lot of people. Look, anything can happen in football, right? That's why I don't gamble in football, because the house will always win at the end of the day. And football's so random, and gambling's bad. Burnley is the last home game. the fans in the stadium, I haven't got a ticket yet. The fans in the stadium will absolutely not allow that. They will not allow it to happen. They will not allow Arsenal to lose. I think all of you guys, I expect you guys to be on them from the beginning to the end. And when I say on them, supporting, screaming, shouting, it's the last home game of the season. So even if Burnley comes up, all guns blazing, I have a feeling the fans are going to be the 13th, 14th, 15th man, and you'll carry Arsenal over the line. And then Palace are playing for the Conference League, right? And that means they need to lock into Europa they lock into Europa if they win that. So I'm hoping that they rest some players, allow us to win, and I guess pick up their 10 million as a check if we do win the title. But yeah, Burnley, guys, I think it's the players should do their part, but I have a feeling that you guys will not allow them to lose. I have a feeling.
Yeah, I'm starting to get nervous about the Burnley game. I can't believe why. I mean, but they drew 2-2 against Villa yesterday, but that's Villa.
It's Villa.
Villa after a European game, Emery after a European game, and it was at Burnley. Look, if you were to say you're playing relegated Burnley and 16th place Palace to win the league, and they've got something. If you're not, again, we said it. If you're not beating West Ham was a Democrat. You're never, ever, 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 ever going to have a better chance than this to win the league. So, no, you're right. I don't want to say we've got one hand on the trophy, whilst also thinking we've sort of got one. But no, I'm not going to allow myself to get there. One game at a time, because you say football is stupid. Just again, when Man City won the league, they were playing relegated QPR, and they only beat them 3-2 in the last minutes. And I think even they were down to 10 men, and they're Joey Barton, for fuck's sake, playing for QPR at the time. So, and that was at home. So, and maybe being away last game of the season is a bit helpful. Less of the nerves, less of the tension in the crowd. I think Burnley will be raucous, but if we haven't scored by half time, and we'll talk about Burnley later in the week, that's going to get interesting. But no, we just, again, do our job. I said that before the West Ham game. We do our jobs. We've won the league. That's all we have to do. Do your job. And look, even then, I'm not 100% confident City will get anything at Bournemouth, maybe even a draw, because Bournemouth they could even get Champions League.
Exactly.
They could, if Villa mess up and drop out of top 5, or they win the Europa League, which I don't really want them to do, but if they win it, and then Bournemouth finish 6th and Villa finish 5th, whoever finishes 6th is. So Bournemouth are fighting for Champions League. So I'm not saying we've done it yet, but yesterday was a massive step in that right direction. And here's a scoreline. Here's a stat for you in terms of comparing Arsenal to Man City. So 1-0, the only scoreline to happen more frequently in the Premier League this season than Arsenal winning 1-0 7 times is Manchester City winning 3-0 8 times, which is quite appropriate given the results of the last week. So, let's not rely on goal difference. Basically, that's all that's saying.
You literally asked me this, Tabs, 2-3 weeks ago. You said, would you take 1-0 wins at the end of the season? And I said, yes, I would, because I feel like City will drop points. And here we are, buddy. Here we are. I don't want a 1-0 win. I don't need the stress. Like, who scored 2 goals?
We can't be doing. The thing is, I can picture in my head an equaliser from a football team. I can't picture 3, 4, 5 goals from an
I know. It's so true.
Oh man, I see someone wheeling away, and Reyes slapping his thighs, Gabriel's on his haunches, just everyone going, "What the fuck?" Anyway, negative thoughts. Get rid of those negative thoughts, and look. Unfortunately, as a consequence of yesterday, fortunately we won. We needed to win, so that we did help our neighbours from Middlesex up the Seven Sisters Road in their relegation fight. So they play Leeds United at home today, which I think Leeds are pretty much safe given their goal difference. But we did help Tottenham, so let's hope Leeds can do the business. So like West Ham are now in 18th on 36 points minus 20, Tottenham in 17th on 37 points minus 9. But hey, if we help keep Tottenham up, 2 things: 1, guaranteed 6 points next season. If Man City are still in the Premier League, if they haven't been relegated due to 115 charges, then that's another potentially 6 points in our favour, because Tottenham always beat them. And then there'll also be our bitches for saving them from going down. So there are silver linings to the victory. And there we go. So
I feel like if they stay, it's fine. They must enjoy Arsenal as champions in the Premier League, right? Come stick around and watch us run around with our gold badges and the lot. It's fine.
Indeed. Okay, so that just leaves me to and funnily enough, I did have actually, before I get to 3-word reviews, as a reminder, and it is very much appreciated if you give us a subscribe, follow on the podcast apps, on YouTube channel at The Grove AFC, on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube. We see the numbers, we see it growing. It helps us get into the ears of the less fortunate than yourselves. So thank you very much if you do that. And why don't you stop right now, press pause, go and do it, and then come back and press that button. And we really appreciate it. And thank you for already done it. We do see it grow. So right, on to your 3-word reviews. And funnily enough, I got quite a lot for this one. So I will try and filter out some because there was a few repeats and stuff. And I don't think we've got time to read all of them, but I still might read quite a few of them. So we go on to Blue Sky from Cheech. Hey, Cheech. Heart attack time. Yeah. Ask Canon Picks. Ian, and this was, I think, my favourite, and not because he's a friend, just I like this. And it's Varguero. So I thought that was a very good one. Lennart, never in doubt. Yeah, I don't believe you. Dr. Lee's Kit, few times 3. Yeah. Aaron, Canet Sneck, always loved VAR. Yeah, I think we have. Mr. C. Laguna, Rollercoaster of Emotions. Sid Silk, 2 more left. Hans Lejeune, Just Keep Swimming. And now that's another reference from another film.
Finding Nemo.
Yeah, Dory. He put Dory. That's the word, but yes, the same thing. Michael Sheehy, Pass the Oxygen. Yeah, indeed. Okay, now I had 2 3-word reviews. One was Behind Enemy Lines and Did Not Flinch. And there we go. So, Flood Colm, Defibrillator on, clear. Fox Soon, Roller Flipping Coaster. Sarah Giverny, Jesus fucking Christ. App sums out. Leg Puppy, Lie Down Needed. Yeah. The Dom Barry, Testicle Tighteningly Tense. Emro 1, My Bloody Heart. Young Bob's Unreal David Raya. Micro Tony T, he goes, first one, thank, and the third one is God, and in the middle one begins with an F. So I'll just translate that for you. Thank fucking God. Danny Brown podcaster, David Raya Goat. I think he's up there at the moment in terms of goalkeeper. Simon North 1969, Come on Palace, and that's for Tuesday, Wednesday this week. And also, if Palace do get a result, the Burnley game becomes the winning the title game. So come on the Palace. Come on you Eagles. Lindsay Strauss won. Oh my God. Kaza the Nerd. Raya is God. And Avzul and Sarah, I am dead. What else you got? Sean Rene, the O Effect. Groovy Cathers too. Anyone need defibrillators? JSTN20, fucking heart attack. Carolina Guna, holy shit. What else we got? Jeff Salt with a bit of a pun, hammered out result. Guna K19, oh my days. Admiral Badgie, Raccoon saves day. There you go. That's onto Raccoon being the Trossard. Oh, and did you see the Daily Mail? As is what they want. That scum of a paper releasing. I think it's old news. Apparently, apparently this evidence. Yeah, headline story on the front page of the Daily Mail. Something about his split up with his wife or something. Yeah, some tryst. I didn't even bother. All I saw was just Daily Mail just being a bunch of cunts, which is who they are. Really. There we go.
Yeah.
So right, what else was there? VA. From Funt K-Laps, a VA Arsenal. And there we go. Right, what else we got? And then, oh my God, Fuck Me Sideways from Danny Brown podcast. Cheesy V, Forget to Breathe. Enjoy the championship. The nice that was by Ultra Anxiety. I like that one. That slight dig at West Ham. Chapper's Delight, massive coronary breakdown. Rahojin and the World Cries. They did. Okay. And yeah, there's loads of all roughly saying the same thing. Oh yeah, the daddy hid behind sofa. Yeah, that would have been mean had I been there. Elsie Hope, squeaky bum time, and there you go. Right, that was Blue Sky, and on to the Grove. The Grove, we had captain, leader, legend from Henry about Odegaard. Mads, 2 more games. Aaron, what the Zuby? Yeah. Chi, heart rate up. Owen, I think this was directed at me. Get out quick. Alistair, VAR. Normie had multiple cardiac arrests. Danish, fuck me dead. Guido, 2 to go. Rahima, I'm so tired. I hear you. Noel Mickedy, what a roller coaster. Same old Arsenal from Alex Monroe. Yeah, we talked about that. This sums us up. And Martin Odegaard's feet, because Mod has got an obsession with Martin Odegaard's feet. All right, thank you for everyone that sent them in. We got loads. Sorry, didn't have a chance to read them all out. I'd still be going now and until tomorrow if I did, but appreciate it. And there we go. So look, Arsenal take another step forward to the title, and of course, we just couldn't win it like a normal title winning team does. No, we had to do it in the most Arsenal 26 way possible. Chaos, stress, heart palpitations, and the goalkeeper being assaulted by two men at once. But if this is the Arsenal plan to reduce the season ticket waiting list by killing off its members with heart attacks, then I think it's close to working. So, look, thank you, Kuziva, for joining me today to talk through that. I'm still. I don't know. Has it helped? Are you now like a bit more chilled? Well, you're always chilled.
No, not at all. I'm still stressed. The hell, yeah. But thank you. Always good to chat.
Good to chat as always. Yeah, I've got to get this out and then take my netball to daughter. Take my daughter to netball, which is a wholly very different experience to watching Arsenal, but equally as stressful in a different way. But there we go. Right. Anyway, thank you for listening, and look, if you like what you hear and what we say, then as I said, please leave a like, subscribe, review, 5-star review, and all that jazz on the podcast apps on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. You can follow us on Blue Sky, Threads, X, Insta, TikTok at the Grove AFC. Leave a comment, get in touch. We always get involved. And the next pod will be a Burnley preview towards the end of the week. So keep an eye out for that. And there we go. 2 games to go. Nothing easy. Nothing is easy. Nothing will be easy. We are still on course. It's still in our own hands, and if anyone thinks the last 2 matches are going to be calm, you've not been paying attention. But here's hoping. And until the next time, come on, you Gunners.